Well, good afternoon, and thanks for picking my video to watch. I'm sure you had to really tear yourself away from all those dancing cat videos on YouTube. I'm sure those are really entertaining. But I was going to make this an hour long, but then I decided even I'll skip over an hour long video unless I've got a bag of chips in front of me. Or a pizza. Pizza's good. But I wanted to use this time to tell people why I'm a Christian and how I've seen God work in my life. To start with, I was born and raised Lutheran. My mother was Lutheran. My dad was Catholic, but he left the Catholic Church because he didn't quite agree with what they were teaching. My mother was also a Sunday school teacher, so needless to say, I went to church and Sunday school every week. I learned a lot. We went through all the stories in the Bible, gospel, and all that. Anyway, I'm sure most people have done this when they were a kid. They've thought about what life would be like when they were an adult. I remember when I was a kid, my nephew and I thought that we'd get a house with a bowling alley inside, and arcade games, pool tables, huge pool, even hooking up two Ataris together to try and make the games better. Of course, that was well before the PS3 ever came out. But, as I learned, and I'm sure a lot of you have too, when you become an adult, things don't always turn out exactly the way you thought they would. As a kid, I went to church every weekend, but as an adult, once I was in my 20s, I didn't really go to church all that often. Maybe once every couple of months. I remember at one point I started to read the Bible all the way through, and I think I got all the way to like 1st or 2nd Kings, and then sort of just lost interest. I never stopped believing in God. I never lost my Christianity. I still believed, but I sort of felt that God would handle the big things, and I would have to handle the rest of it. I felt like, getting a good job and getting a car and all this stuff would be something I'd have to take care of on my own. And it turns out that's not really true. Because the Bible says to give everything to God in prayer. And God will handle not only the big things, but He can handle the little things too. I remember when I did get a good job, I got a car, nice car, I was happy with it. When I got it, I was enjoying it fully. I got a good apartment, got a nice TV and all that, and it made me happy. But then, after the lease was up on the car, I didn't seem to care anymore. As nice as it was, and as much as I liked it and enjoyed it, it just didn't do anything for me anymore. I wanted something else. Then I got a house, and I thought, when I get a house, boy, it'll be great. I can wash my truck in the driveway without having to take it someplace. I can change the oil. I can work on my truck in the garage. It'll be great. And I got a house, and even though I like having a house, it doesn't fulfill me like I thought it would. Anyway, around 2009, I ended up getting depressed. I learned some things about my childhood I didn't really like. Just things that I was taught. It had nothing to do with religion or anything. It was just, I don't know. Anyway, depressing stuff. And it hurt me. It bothered me. I was angry, depressed, numb, all of that. And then the TV and the DVD player went out, and I was thinking, well, the DVD player's out, I'll go get a new one. I went out and got a Blu-ray player, an upgrade, Got an LED TV, that was an upgrade too. And it made me feel better a little bit. And I can even remember for a month at least, I could walk through the living room and I'd see that TV and I'd stop and I'd look at it and I'd think, wow, great, I got a nice TV now and a Blu-ray player. But within 6 months I could walk past that TV and not even think twice about it, because it's just a TV. About 2 years went by, and I was leaving work one day, and I turned on the radio. Now, I wasn't really a big music person, but I liked, the typical top 40 music, rock music, dance, rap, whatever. I didn't always like what they were singing about, but I just liked the beat and the rhythm, because after all, I was still Christian. Yeah, I may not have gone to church more than every other month, but I still felt that there were certain things I agreed with and certain things I didn't. But anyway, train of thought, where did it go? It derailed somewhere. Anyway, the radio station. Well, I turned on the radio, they were playing a commercial, another station playing a commercial, another station was playing a song I didn't like, and I was out of state, I didn't know what the local stations were, so I just hit the search button, and up popped the local station. It was crystal clear, and it was a rock song, and it was good, and I was listening, and I noticed it was Christian rock. I liked it, and I listened to it. It was Newsboys. So if you're looking for Christian rock, there you go. Then I waited, they played a commercial or two, and then they went into a Bible study. And this was great because I only went to church every couple of months, so hearing this actually made me feel like almost like I had gone to church. I listened to it, made me feel better, and then they started another one, but then I drove out of the range of that station. I couldn't hear it anymore. But I found out that station was part of the Calvary Radio Network. And it was actually, they got a website, calvaryradionetwork.org. And I found a local station in my hometown that I could listen to, and I could hear the Bible studies there too. Now at the time, I was still going back and forth with the regular hit music and then this station. But then the more I listened to it, the more I heard these Bible studies, the better it made me feel, and I just drifted towards the Bible studies, so much so that probably within a few months, maybe less, that's all I would listen to. I don't think I've listened to those other hit music stations in the last year. And I enjoy it a lot more. And I felt after a while, after a couple of weeks, I felt, I want to go to church next week, and I started going, instead of once every 2 months, I started going every other week. And then every other week became every week. And I don't miss church like I used to. In fact, well, actually, I think the last time I missed church, I was sick and I had a cold. And I'm sure the congregation is happy I kept my plague-infected self at home rather than spreading my cold germs to everybody else. But at least it wasn't because I woke up late, or because I didn't feel like going, or I felt like, well, I went last month, I don't have to go again. Because I used to feel that way. In fact, I used to feel that I couldn't go every week, that it just wasn't something that was possible for me. But now, it's normal for me to go every week, and I enjoy it. I started to look back on at least the last 10-15 years, and I started to see what I was actually doing. I didn't really care for music, but I was really into movies. Not that I really knew who the director was, or who the actor was, or who the actor was dating at the time of the filming of the movie. I didn't really care about that, but I just liked the movies. And the reason I liked the movies is because it would take me away from my own life for an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long the movie is, But then, once the movie was over, I didn't really care. And over the at least 9 years, I ended up buying like 70 DVD movies. But I didn't really think of it as a problem, I just thought it was a collection. But then when I got depressed, for 2 years, I ended up doubling that collection. And I looked back and I saw that. And I realized I was just trying to fill that emptiness inside me with movies. Or the car. Or a new truck. Or the house. Or the Blu-ray player. Or the TV. Or any of those things. And it doesn't work. I believe everybody has a God-shaped hole inside them. And that hole is a bottomless pit. And you can take movies, music, concerts, I don't care what it is, your collection of spoons, drugs, alcohol, you name it. You can take anything you want and just throw it in that hole, and you'll feel good only for a short time, and then it's gone. But there's a verse in the Bible. It's James 4, verse 8. And God says, "Draw close to me, and I will draw close to you." Now, those may have been written 2,000 years ago, but it's real. Because before, I was distancing myself from God, and now I'm drawing closer. I'm not fully there yet, but I am getting a lot closer. Because I feel better about what I do and how I act and how I'm thinking. The Bible also says that if you follow after God, He will give you the desires of your heart. Now, a lot of people look at that as to say, well, He'll give you the things you want. But the things we want, money, possessions, popularity, those aren't the things God's going to give you. Because God has a different line of thinking. The Bible even says, my thoughts, or God says, my thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways. So we don't have any idea exactly how God works, because we can't think in that way. And when you seek after God, He will change you. He will change the things you want so that you're not seeking after earthly possessions and earthly things. 15 years ago, I probably would have liked to have a nice Rolex. I've got a fake one. It's got rust on it. But now, if I were to get a Rolex, if someone were to give me one, or I win one in a raffle of some sort, I'd sell it, I'd buy a $50 watch, and I'd donate the rest. Because I know right here that would make me happier, and that happiness would last longer than, say, a $5,000 TV. Because I already have a relatively nice TV. And 6 months after I got it, I didn't really care anymore. As far as the things that we buy, the things that we get, I could go on for that for another hour. But I don't want to keep this video going too long because, again, some of you may not have a bag of chips in front of you. So I just want to say that I hope this helps you. And I am going to make another video, and that video is going to be more about what I see wrong in the world, and even what I can see wrong with some Christians. Because I believe that there are Christians out there that are not really seeking after God as much as they should, because they end up being agitated and angry, and they're still sometimes seeking things of the world to try and make them happy when they don't have to. But again, that's another video, and I hope if you watch this, you'll watch that one as well. Anyway, good night, and God bless.